Hello, everybody. So today, I just wanted to touch base with you all. I haven't done a lot of live, so I thought, I had a bit of time today, and I thought I should maybe reach out to you guys. So again, I don't go live very often, but I do plan to start doing this on Fridays now, going forward, because I really like to engage and hear from you guys, and I have a prophecy that I'd like to share with everyone today, but I'm going to give us a little bit of time to for people to come on. Hello, everybody who's there. Can I see comments? I'm going to try to look. Can I do it in the app? I'd like to be able to see what you're saying. Oh, okay. Let's have a look. Can I keep this? Yeah. Oh, great. I do have my assistant here. Okay. Nani, Kathy, Elsie, Cheryl. Oh, there's lots of you. Oh, good. I wasn't sure if anyone was going to show up. Hello. Welcome. So yes, this is an unusual thing for me to do. We didn't, when because look, when they started with the censorship, and especially in the last few years, they've given us a pretty hard time. So you would have noticed that we stopped doing the lives, and we just, we felt, and this is my mother and I, kind of felt to pull back a little bit from that. But at this stage, I really wanted to be able to have this engagement. So we prayed about it, and we checked out, how's the environment? Can we do this? And we felt we can. So hello, everyone. So many of you. I'm so glad to see this. This is so great. I have a prophecy I want to show you guys today, but I just wanted to make sure that, I'm going to wait until we've given everybody enough time to hop on who might want to see that. So I won't jump into it. Well, let's talk about Tucker, okay, while we wait, because, whoa. So listen, after the previous presidential election here in America, I, at that stage, was quite disappointed in Fox News because, well, the thing about it is this goes back quite far for us because my dad prophesied Fox News before it was Fox News, when it was just, one of those networks, Fox, they didn't have the news. And he prophesied that they would become a news network. I don't have the transcription, but it is what he prophesied. And for a long time, it was an option as you started to see more of a divide in America, and I have witnessed that. Because we started to travel um, before my family moved from South Africa when I was a child. We started to travel from South Africa into America, and then we would go across the country. So we would go everywhere from Texas to California to New York. And Dad would be doing that because he would, schedule to go to certain churches while he was in America. And there were lots and lots of them, and so many different kinds. And so, I began my life looking at America from outside. And then we moved to Texas when I was 12. This was about 1991, 92-ish. And actually, we're living in America and going to school, which is different. It was still a culture shock, even though we traveled. But as a child, you don't pay attention to politics and things like that. But I had my grandmother, my mom's mom, Gloria, who is someone who always followed politics. And she was, I mean, when during the Clinton presidency, she had all the books. She'd be like, "You got to read this one, and you got to read that one," and we'd watch Fox News together. And so, that journey with Fox has unfortunately come to an end, and it's very sad to say. Um, I I've watched this past week what happened to Tucker Carlson. Now, I'll say the only thing left on Fox News that I watched was Tucker. And as soon as he released those tapes, it appears things began to get quite tense there at Fox, and we were anticipating something might occur like this. This isn't a shock, actually. I think it was maybe a little bit more to Tucker than some of us. But oh, someone's watching from Durban. Sorry, I know I get distracted, but it's so cool to be able to see your comments here. Someone's watching. Vincent. Hello, Vincent. Welcome from South Africa. Durban is where I was born. So it's lovely to see you. And Michigan. Karen is from Michigan, and Rick. Hi, guys. And Kentucky. Hey, if you're in Kentucky, you're not far away from me. I'm in Tennessee right now. We left California in 2019 and moved and created a second base here in Tennessee. Um, for obvious reasons. I mean, California is extraordinarily expensive. Uh, so we found a way to, and a place here in Tennessee, and we do love it. It's lovely out in here in the woods, and it's been really great for the family. And anybody wondering about my adopted siblings, and if you don't know, my mom and dad adopted 5 children from China in the early 2010s. It was like 2011ish. It started after the earthquake in Japan. Mom and dad adopted 5 special needs children who are my brothers and sisters. And anyone who does know and has, watched it before and seen them, they're all doing incredibly well. Kimby is going to be spending the night tonight over here with me and my daughter, who is the same age. So I happen to have my first child at the same time mom adopted Shalian, Mia, and Kimby. And so my kids are around the same age. And so that's been great because they have each other. And every weekend there's a sleepover. So that's going to happen. Kimby has had multiple surgeries and she has a hearing issue. But I will say she is a delight. She is so funny. And her and my daughter get along very well as little Shoo Shoo. Um, so usually there's a sleepover here or a sleepover at mom's. And so all the little girls do that. And Matt is doing incredibly well. He's at school in high school. So he's getting, a taste of the high school stuff, heavier homework and tests and learning to be a man and be more responsible. And, he's doing just so well. He's such so dear to me. We get along very well, Matt and I. He's a good brother. So that's a little update on them. But we'll go back to Tucker and Fox now. So I was observing what was going on, and I saw the Heritage where he did the speech at Heritage. And I knew when he gave that speech it was probably going to, and I saw it over the weekend, and people were going on and on about, all of that. So when the announcement came Monday, I know that it was a shock to Tucker. I was quite surprised it was as abrupt, but again, I was expecting this. But they must realize at Fox that this is the final nail in the coffin, not only for Fox, but for that corporate mainstream media being the core that we all go to. I mean, you cannot trust the press. If anybody agrees with me right now, give me a little heart because um, certainly can't trust those old systems. And so we are in a time where we're seeing these old systems fall away and making way for a new set of systems. So we are adjusting to this as a whole, as not just Christians. Everybody is sort of adjusting to this new way, and we are seeing such an increase in technology, the speed of technology, and how quickly it's advancing. And this, if you look back to World War II and the technological progress since then to now, as opposed to all of human history prior to that, it is quite remarkable. And so I think a lot of the issues that we deal with today and that we're facing go back a lot further than any of our personal lives, especially if you go back to JFK and the assassination of JFK. That moment in history is, especially since we've recently seen the release of those classified documents that appear to point to bad actors within the government, CIA, things like that, being responsible, and not the story we were always told. And so this is quite interesting for me because I decided to look up JFK or Kennedy in the prophecy database and found something. We only have audio of it. We don't have video. And this is because in a lot of those earlier years, like prior to maybe 2009, 10, or prior to, let's say a little before that, before would be mid 2000s, Dad had started to go on the internet. So we have a lot of stuff on camera. Prior to that, dad would be at a church, so or a different location. So if they were filming, or if we had set up filming, we'll have video. Otherwise, people would always audio record my dad because they knew he was prophesying, and this was, of course, prior to the iPhone and the cameras in the phones. We're talking about mid 2005, 6, 7, and before that. So we don't always have video because people weren't able to make videos as easily. But we do have audio and transcript, and this one had just been sitting in there for probably. Let's see, when did he prophesy this? 2007. So that's 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, okay. So it's quite a long time ago. My math's terrible. I'm not, you saw me stop there in the middle of that math. I was like, no, I'm not doing math. Yes, us Clements, we're not very good at the math. But I have this prophecy. Now I'm going to just put my phone up and let you hear it. So let's make sure it's going to work. And it's all being okay. So this is from 2007. So now, here's what we need to note. My dad prophesied that Trump would be a trumpet in 2007. All of that stuff he prophesied about Trump, the economy and the wall, really was just, it hit him in 2007, right? So this is the same year. And I must also say that he prophesied this particular prophecy on General Flynn, his wife's birthday. So Mrs. Flynn's wife's birthday is the date Dad prophesied this, which is interesting. And you're going to understand why when you hear this. But I'm not quite sure what to think of it, because now I'm seeing the emergence of Robert Kennedy. Now, I feel very strongly good. I don't know how else to say this. Good Robert Kennedy. So I, but I don't agree with him on a lot of things. But I think at this stage, where we are with politics in America, is not to be focusing on the things we disagree about as much, because we see this uniparty problem and we see a show and we're starting to realize, hang on, this isn't right. So Dad had this prophecy. I'm going to play it for you. I hope you can hear it. I will. I'm wondering if I should just read it. No, let's play it. You guys tell me if you can hear it, okay? Let's see, 26 years ago. Thanks you guys for the math. People. Thank you for the math. Help. I'm just going to read comments here. Okay, good. Okay, so I want to play this. I'm hoping you're going to be able to hear this because I do have AirPods in. So this is where this might be a dilemma, but we'll see. And God said it shall come to pass that I will take a man of Irish. Can you guys hear it? And place him in the White House. This is years to come. But God said to John F. Kennedy that once. I wonder if you can hear it. Can you hear it? You guys hear? But God said another as a John F. Kennedy. But without brightness. Don't worry, I will read it to you. I'm hoping you can hear. This is today's live. This is like the guinea pig live today. We're testing this out. We haven't done this in so long. Anyway. So let me show you. That's what it's going to look like. And we'll post this. Will you post it? We're going to post this after I'm done live here. We'll post this on this YouTube channel so you can actually look at it yourself. So I'm going to read it to you. I'm worried about hearing it. Oh, you can hear it. The volume is, it's because it's in here. Here, I'm going to read it to you. So let's see. I'll just read it straight from this transcript that's in here. Okay, so this is what he said. And again, you'll be able to read this right after I'm done with this live. We'll post it. So this is July 27th of 2007. He was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And he says, and God said, it shall come to pass that I will take a man of Irish descent again and place him in the White House. This is years to come, but God said a John F. Kennedy that once was to be great, but God said now another as a John F. Kennedy. I know you guys are probably thinking of all those rumors of JFK Jr. being alive, which is where my mind went to. But I think, I don't think he's alive, but I do think that my dad maybe he was picking that up. because you'll see now. Let's make sure. Has another John F. Kennedy, right? But with uprightness, with morality, and with great strength of leadership. And they shall say, it is JFK reincarnated. That's an interesting statement. And God says, I will laugh at your psychics, for the prophet spoke in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, long before it happened, that this shall be a sign to this nation that what took place in the 60s and what was supposed to take place will take place in the teens of the 2000s of 2015 and 2016. So he actually got the year here. So not only in that year of 2000, so whatever happened there with Dad and God, man, he got a download because you had Trump will be a trumpet. You had him in Maricopa County prophesying about the economy and the wall and the two terms. You had him. Now you see the Irish descent. I see you there, Brooks Kelly. Irish descent. Okay. General Flynn is Irish, all Irish. And in 2015 and 2016, General Flynn was the Irishman in the White House. Now, Dad was saying this would take place or sort of begin then, which is exactly what we've seen. Now, it's very unusual for my dad to name a year. He wouldn't do that often because of the way prophecy works. It's all to do with choices and not just your own, but the choices of the people around you and around them and around them and around them. And so I do have a way of looking at this that I'm not going to explain now. I will eventually, though. But it all has to do with choices. So when Dad saw things, I do believe had a lot to do with the prophecy as well. So it would be, where is he? What is he saying? Like, for instance, he was in Maricopa County and started talking about the walls of protection in the economy and the two terms. And so, how interesting. Um, so, but now we have, and this is interesting because I found this prophecy, and it keeps happening like this, where I'm finding these prophecies, and then uh, right afterwards, the news will come out about it. So I found the Jesus Revolution prophecies just the last couple of months, put them up, did code breakers on them. And in the middle of my process of putting together information and filming that stuff, the Jesus Revolution movie came out, which I had no idea even existed. And I have actually watched it. I thought it was really well done. Um, I wasn't actually too knowledgeable about the Jesus movement that happened there in the 60s and 70s. My dad got saved under that, but he wasn't in America. He was in South Africa. But it was in that same time period that my dad got saved and got delivered and started to, uh, feel that call for ministry. Actually, he did right away. I think it was just immediately. He knew he was called to ministry. And so in that time period, you had like the hippie movement going on. So the counter, right? Also, Nixon. Also, this is when Klaus Schwab began the World Economic Forum with the help of Kissinger. So you look at what those people are up to. So this, what we are now noticing, has been in the works for a very long time. And my dad was even picking up on things that were supposed to have been taken care of in the 60s and 70s. God is going to now. So whatever wasn't finished then, God is taking care of now. So that's kind of what I'm better Kennedy than DeSantis. Sorry. That's good. Well, look, if you listen to Kennedy, now I've been on the Reawaken America tour, and Robert Kennedy Jr. has joined the Reawaken America. I've not met him, but I have a very strong feeling. It's so hard to explain. It's just strong. Yes. And it is a bit conflicting because, again, I don't agree with him on abortion, and I don't agree with him. But right now, we can't actually nitpick that way, because if all of us come together uh, in that unity and the uncovering of scales from eyes, we can pray for God to reveal himself to Robert Kennedy Jr., however God wills it. But I do believe that's coming because of who is surrounding him. And it's good that it's a Democrat. And if you look back, General Flynn, Democrat. Donald Trump, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. So that's good because they are seeking to divide us by party. And then they'll say, they use things like abortion or, taxes or guns, right? And then it's like, they can keep us divided that way. But they're making deals in the back there, and God knows what they're doing. I can't make any claim. I don't know for sure, but it looks like, and I think the rest of you would say so. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm open. I'm an open person. I'll listen. I'll always hear somebody out, and will pray about it, and I will think about it, and I will research it if I feel. Because there's some crazy things out there that we know are okay. That's a little bit too far. The whole flat Earth thing. It just strains my brain. I can't. So, there is the danger, and this is the danger of the media being owned by the corporations who are in cahoots with the governments who want no borders because that makes it easier for the corporations not to have those borders and things. So they have their own motivation, and they don't actually, and this is what we have to remember as Christians, they don't know the Bible like we do. If you listen to someone like Yuval Noah Harari talking about the God of the Bible, he talks about, the way that he describes things are so simple that you look at his understanding, we think God is an old man up in the clouds. Is that what you think we think? Like, you don't think we have, or have you not thought about it that way? Have you not read it and studied this book that you criticize so much? And I know that he has. He's not a fool. And this is something else I keep trying to tell people. Like, even when you hear like Donald Trump saying this person is smart, this person is clever, has to be very careful how he speaks, but also that isn't necessarily a compliment. You must realize that the people who are in the countries that are gathering together right now with schemes and plans are still our adversaries. They are still working against us. They still hope for the destruction of America so they can take it over. And so we have seen a very carefully planned, slow infiltration of every single institution that we trusted. You hear Glenn Beck saying things like, what's his name? Murdoch from Fox said he was not to use the word God, and then complained to him. You're taking it away. Can I have mine? Yeah. Okay. Excuse me for that. He needs to. We're again. I told you this is the guinea pig live today. I need to see your comments. That's why I'm doing this, and I hope I'm not gonna. Okay. So you do have the sound off of this, Lou? No. Okay, then I will turn the sound off. There we go. Thanks, guys, for being patient. Because I want to be able to see what you're saying. So let me go in here and get into that channel. Because I'm in my own right now. And you guys can follow me, my YouTube channel as well. It's Donna Clement Petrushka, my name, if you're not already following there. Because what I do on that channel, I don't advertise it. It's not a professional channel or anything. But what I'll do is I'll sit there going through prophecies and I'll drop things into Final Cut and then run them together because I'm trying to get a picture. And so then I'll just throw it up on YouTube and see, does anyone else, without instruction or guidance or anything, just throw it up there and see the response. And so this is what I've done. And it's been very good. I don't know what I'm doing here on this computer. I just want to see what you guys are saying. So I'm just going to go back to main YouTube. Now, eventually we'll be able to do this where I can pull my screen up for you. There we go. Here I am. There we go. Now I can see the comments again. Okay, good. They're saying I keep fading in and out. Should I take the AirPods out, do you think? No. They said they can't hear me. Can you hear me now? It might be a connection. I am in Tennessee and it's been raining. I'm reading your comments because I want to make sure you can hear me. Oh, thanks, Elaine. Peace, love, and many blessings. You hear me fine, Nani? Thank you. Got it. Okay. Nani hears me. Vicky hears me. Find the time. I will do a live. I was just talking to Trey Smith this morning. Trey Smith is my very dear friend. And you know what's so funny about that is that I never knew him when my dad was alive. I met him after my dad passed away. He had done a video, and I don't remember if I contacted him or I can't even remember now. But we immediately became friends, got along really well. And we hang out. I mean, he stayed at my house. He's my friend, like my good friend. And he was just texting me with me this morning. So I was thinking that exact thing is I should do like, we should have like maybe once a month, Trey and Donna, and see what we have. Because when the two of us get to talking, you'll see what happens. Um, oh, thanks, Clifford. That's lovely. Yes, it's a difficult position I've been put in here, isn't it? I mean, I grew up watching Kim Clement, this incredible prophet, and it was like he was so strong that it was so easy for us to just lean on him. We really did, as everybody did. He was so strong, and it was fine for him. He didn't mind. But um, when he passed, we really had to pray about, do we keep the ministry going? And we had to. Look at all these prophecies we had. We couldn't just leave that. That was just it almost seemed like wrong. It would definitely have been wrong, but there's no way we could have done that. So we've kept the ministry going, even though we had no experience in front of a camera. I certainly didn't. No experience speaking publicly, except for the few times, my dad would actually quite often call me up to say a few things, but it would always be he was carrying it, and I would say a few things, and then I would leave. Um, I had never had to deal with standing on a platform and actually doing all the stuff. So that has been a learning experience for Mom and I and for our team. But we have plodded along, and God has made sure that we could make it. And He has carried us through a lot. We had a lot of grief and loss, and then many, many attacks from the enemy, and then all of the things happening. And it's just, that people, they'll obviously there's the naysayers and the people that want to speak badly. I don't worry too much about them. I pray for them. Because this is you think about a prophetic ministry and the prophet, that kind of thing. You have to take into consideration for a lot of people, this has not been a highlight of the fivefold ministry, uh, you know, outside of evangelistic circles. So if you go into just the regular, like you heard Tucker Carlson say to you the other day, as an Episcopalian, I encourage you to pray. I thought that was so funny. But for a lot of people, the whole prophetic idea is sort of kind of out there. So I don't get upset when people find a hard time believing it. I allow them. I don't believe in manipulation either. I think it should speak for itself, and people can discern for themselves. And that is where God has us in this season right now. Is this a time where we need to be talking to Him ourselves and discerning for ourselves, opening our own eyes and looking around and saying, you know what, that doesn't feel right to me. And pray about it, and God will show you. And you know how many times I've asked Him for a sign? I've asked Him for help, and man, He is the best. He is just the best. It'll be like I pray in the car a lot, and I'll weep and pray in the car, and why, God, why? But you know what? Whatever I know from growing up with my dad. Huh? Oh, Rumble! Ah, we're on Rumble at the same time. Forgot about you, Rumble guys. Hi, Rumble. This is lovely. Okay, I'm really, I must say this to you guys. If anything ever happens to this channel, the Kim Clement channel, we are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, we are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever we can stay, we're there. We get in trouble. Uh, I'll be careful what I say, but it's quite amazing the things that we get in trouble for. It wouldn't always be the things you'd expect. Anyway, not my fault that my dad prophesied things and they came to pass. What am I supposed to do? Not share it. That's kind of been sort of the question I've always had with this, is he's not even alive anymore. Anyway, uh, back to the prophetic. We do need to be a more prophetically focused. I think we need to focus in that direction. That does not mean that there's going to be a whole lot of people jumping up being Kim Clement replicas. I said it the other day when I was in Bend, Oregon at the gathering with Delora O'Brien and Delora and Dennis O'Brien. Charlie was there this past weekend. It's on the YouTube channel here if you want to have a look. The one thing I said was my dad did not raise replicas, he raised warriors. And so, you know, being a prophetic person, it, you have to look at it like this. It's a gift of the Spirit. So when you're filled with the Holy Spirit, um, there are certain gifts, and that is one of them, the gift of prophecy. So your pastor can prophesy as part of the fivefold ministry. Doesn't mean he's a prophet in that office. He's in office of, he's a pastor or he's a whatever, but he can prophesy, and I've seen this. And so those gifts of the Spirit are there for you to utilize. And some people, you know, I found people sometimes can feel a little bit strange about speaking in tongues, and some people are very against it, and some people are very much for it. I do speak in tongues, but I don't. I I think that each individual person, and that is something that's lacking if you look on like the communist side of things and the way things have sort of gone, is you lose the individual, and there's a group think that happens, and then everyone's categorized into groups. But you can't categorize all human beings. If you were to actually really do that properly, everybody would end up in their own box. And so, this is a tactic of the enemy that we have to be aware of. And there are easy things that they can use against us, like race and religion and things that a lot of people, I mean, if you think about it, how can you judge somebody on something that they had no control over? It's absurd. And we do understand that. We understand it. It's the people out there who are getting a fringe, especially the youth. It's the problem is the youth is who they are going after, and it's the youth who are much more easily indoctrinated, and it's easy to form a young person's mind. And so that's why they're going after that. We don't have that. We have, you know, we had a better foundation, some of us older folks. So I guess I can say that now. Oh, funny. Um, yes, I'm hearing you here, Harley. Every day, like a horoscope. Now, you know, that's why my father stopped. In the early 2000s, he stopped doing prophecy. He would go and minister in churches and he would get words for people. And I saw his gift grow on that sphere. But when he started to feel like it was, people are relying more on me than God, he backed off and stopped doing it. And the ministry really took a hit because a lot of people had come to rely on my dad. And my dad was saying, no, 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 you don't need me for that. You don't need me to tell you these little things about your life every single day. God will tell you himself. And he even wrote a book, How to Hear the Voice of God Yourself. And so his goal was to, and this was God, this is something that God was doing through my dad, along with the prophesying, is raising up an army of warriors who were prophetic people. So we're able to discern and see with God at our side, us and God, right? Again, not office of prophet. That's a different thing. It's a once in a lifetime thing. There are a lot of people hopping around prophesying, and we have to also look at, when you look at that kind of thing, you have to take into consideration that oftentimes the people push people. Like I know this from experience because when my dad died, gosh, there was a part of me that wished it could have happened that way. But again, he didn't raise replicas. I could have hopped up behind my dad's piano. You know what I mean? But I didn't because he raised me and he taught me how to think and exposed me by taking me all across the world to all different kinds of churches and cultures and peoples, how to have a good perspective on that. So I find it easy, but uh, okay, but I'm seeing comments. Wait, you guys are all there. Oh, look at all of you. Joe Right Wing, Heart Rescore. Yes, I'm seeing all your comments. Right, my dad's words being confirmed now. So you see, this is the beautiful thing about prophecy. And this is it's one kind of sort of consolation about, I wish my dad was here. Don't get me wrong. Because this is hard without him. But the authenticity of the word of God that came through him, God speaking to us through him, is all the more so because he was not here to form an opinion in this time where things went hard, split. So he wasn't here for that. He saw in advance, God showed him in advance to warn us, to prepare us. A lot of the things he prophesied have come to pass, and there are other things that haven't. Many of you know about the 2027 prophecy where he breaks down. There's quite a few things still yet to come. I'll tell you this. There is mixed in with from February 22nd of 2014. That is such a long prophecy that you'll often see me when I'm doing a presentation or if I'm showing clips. You're only going to see sections of it, but you can actually watch the whole thing. It's on this channel and it's on my channel. That whole prophecy is very, very long, and God actually is giving us a timeline. So he's seeing Trump, he's seeing the 2 impeachments, he's seeing Roe versus Wade getting overturned, and he saw 2 from the Supreme Court would step down for the embarrassment of what would happen, right? He's seeing all this happen, and then he sees a small, humble, young Latino man. So this is an after Trump person. And I keep that in the back of my mind, and I do tell people, you must remember that there was also this one who Dad saw amongst them. He was amongst them, young, humble, didn't speak very much. And later on, he went to Miami, and he was featured at Miami CAP, CAP, and he prophesied there. I believe it may not have been at the actual CAP, at the church service the next day, on the Sunday. And he dropped his mantle on the platform, and he spoke about this young David. So he was seeing the president beyond Trump, who would be the first Latino president, but would come from amongst them, from Trump's. He was seeing the gold and all that. So there's a lot more to come. There's a lot in the prophecies, little nuggets that are in there that are really worth looking at. So again, I brought this prophecy to you, and we will post this as soon as I'm done. We will post this prophecy on this YouTube channel. So you must look for this. If you don't have notifications on here, put the notification on. Because we're not heavy posters. You're not going to get annoyed by us. But you will be able to see when I go live, and you will be able to get a notification when that prophecy has loaded and is up. Because I want to hear back from you guys. What do you feel? Because we're seeing the JFK, we're seeing the Irishman. The fact that this was prophesied on General Flynn's wife's birthday, that he was the Irishman in the White House in 2015 and 2016, which are the years my dad named, and the level of persecution that man and his family have had to endure under public scrutiny, is absurd. So this shows you something too, because I'll tell you one thing about General Mike Flynn. He's one of the best people I've ever known. He's seriously like a genuine, good, moral, strong leader. And so those things described appear to me to be more about General Flynn. And then I feel that maybe Dad was picking up not just Robert Kennedy. It's not just Robert Kennedy. It's what happened in America. Because JFK called out secret, what are they called? Secret, like the Illuminati nonsense and all this. Secret societies, thank you. And remember the speech? There's a speech he gave about how we shouldn't have those kind of things. We shouldn't have those kind of secrets. He was calling them out. And when he did that, and whatever else happened that we don't know about, they took him out in front of the whole world. And they made sure that message was sent. And then they took out his brother. And so there is a reconciliation needed, and I do believe for that family. And so whatever our opinions are about the individual people and whatever sin was in their life or whatever, God is beyond that and understands them in a way that we never could, and what their family have been through. And nobody is beyond redemption or saving, right? As Christians, we need to be praying for these people. So when we see someone like, unexpected pop up into our sphere here, wanting to join, we need to be grabbing those people and saying, come on over. We'll take care of the rest later. We've got people who are anointed in deliverance, like Pastor Greg Locke. Man, you get those demons out quick. That's my pastor. He's up 30 minutes up the road from me. So, and my dad was very about deliverance. His deliverance experience was incredible. I think it went on for about 3 days or something. He's completely delivered of every problem he had. And he was, I mean, the healthiest. My dad was extraordinarily healthy person, ate healthy, was very, exercise, was not an unhealthy person who was overindulgent. He was very in control. And that's really what everything has to do with. Uh, and then when you get to think about sin this way. I'm going to talk about, let's talk about it. Sin. Okay. When you think about sin, you have to think about it this way. It is a weakness through which the enemy can get me. So your goal for overcoming whatever these sins and obstacles are in your life, when you overcome those, the goal of that is actually to protect yourself. You put on the full armor of God. That's what that's about. It's not about, oh, I'm better than you because you do this sin and I don't do it, so I'm so much better. Like that attitude in the church has caused so many to reject it, mock it. It's what my dad called the religious spirit. That we're supposed to be helping people. And so the people who are sent to us that need to be delivered, that need all the, God has anointed us as his people to be able to handle that so that they can be accepted with us. So I would encourage everybody to pray, even if you don't like someone, but you see that God might be working in their life. And look, again, with the conspiracy theory things, you'll hear conspiracy theories. Some of them are conspiracies, some of them are not. A lot of them we're finding out are not. Which was it a little, because like I told you before, I'm not actually a conspiracy theorist person, but I am open, so I'll always listen to things. But when you have a media system that's working the way it is now, nobody trusts it. Nobody trusts them. They don't trust what they're saying. And so then you will find that there will come out of that, people will get to discussing and they don't have all the information. They're trying to piece it together. So then true conspiracies will come. I like the flat earth thing. I don't know what people are thinking about, but this flat earth, I can't. My brain, I can't. Um, but you get what I'm saying. So we have to be armed and not judging, but we also cannot accept certain things. So it's like walking a tightrope almost right now, but you should think of it that way. So whatever you're trying to overcome in your life, we all have those things. You think I don't have them? Of course I do. Whatever it is, ask God to help you and do your best to overcome it. Go and seek deliverance because you can take care of it like that. Make sure you're not ensnared again, and understand that there is a spiritual warfare going on. This is without question. If you heard Tucker Carlson's speech at Heritage last weekend, that should tell you a lot. Because again, when he said, I'm literally telling you this as an Episcopalian, to pray and look to the future. I love that he said that because I just thought of my dad. Look to the future and pray. What else can we do? If a lot of you are feeling helpless, what can I do? What can I do? God will direct you. You ask him to open doors, ask him to show you. Again, you do it with God. Don't go running to people to do it for you. That's laziness too. It's not easy to sometimes you're like, is that God or is that just me? And if I ever feel like that, I'll ask him for a sign. I'll say, okay, that is what you just told me. So give me a sign, some kind of confirmation. And I'll say nothing to anybody and I'll wait for it. And every time I get it, either that you're going a little off the rails there, Donna, in your head, or yeah, that's me. And now it's gotten to the point where I'm pretty sure at this point, because there's this feeling you get. It's so difficult to describe it, but trolls go away. Oh yes, well, listen to the trolls. It's to you that we're as Christians called to you. And whatever we've done wrong, we're sorry. And really, the desire of our hearts is to walk with Christ and to truly understand this life and what is it about and what is our purpose. And if you disagree, that's okay. And keep coming back, and if you bring up something that's legitimate, I am definitely uh, open. Again, I told you, I'm open. I want to try to find out um, What is this? Do you think Latino or Cash Patel? Actually, Cash Patel, such a nice guy. I've met Cash Patel. I want to interview him, but he's very, very busy, so I haven't pushed too hard on that. But I will be at the Reawaken American tour in Miami at Trump Doral on the, what is it, the 12th and 13th? Let's see. I should actually know this on my head, but dates have been messing with me, especially since the time changed. I'm looking at 7 o'clock, 12th and 13th. Okay, so 12th and 13th of May, Trump Doral in Miami. I will be speaking there. I do believe I will be. I'm going to be on the Friday in the afternoon. I think 4:20 is my slot right now. That may you need to just go and watch, and you'll be able to watch Rumble. You'll be able to watch it on Rumble. And all my Rumble people, you're already there. Anybody on YouTube, you need to go search Thrive Time and Clay Clark. Search for him on Rumble if you're not already over there, because it's going to be streaming from there. Yeah, the Thrive Time show. Look for that on Rumble. Follow that because Clay Clark will give you all the information you need, and then they will stream the event live. Then they take it down. Then they put each person's section back up through the week. So you'll be able to watch it live. If you miss it live, wait during the week. You'll be able to look for my section and whoever else you want to watch because Amanda Grace will be there. She's my dear friend. Roger Stone, my very, very good friend. Roger Stone will be there. Of course, General Flynn, Clay Clark. Who else is speaking though? There's some interesting people that are speaking around me. I don't have the schedule in front of me now, but you can go look at the schedule as well. We'll be there, 12th and 13th. And so oh, Dotster Chick. Thank you. I like the little emoji that they have. She just gave us a super chat. And Shauna Thompson, death to death prophecy. Great idea, Shauna. Okay. My dad prophesied death to death over so many times that if I were to actually stream it all together, we'd probably have a whole video of him just saying the phrase death to death. Because he started talking about, now this is years ago, saying, you will not be reliant on the Middle East for oil anymore. The resources you need are underneath your feet. And he saw a new discovery coming as well for energy. So I know the death thing, you want me to go there, but the energy as well, because it's connected. He saw that there would be an earthquake or something, but it would be not a sign of judgment, but the earth yielding, and that something would be discovered that would have to do with energy and a new energy. He even, I think, at one point saw you would be able to get in your car and choose out of like 4 or 5 different options what kind of energy you were going to use. That was like sort of a vision he had. So that is very interesting. Um, and yes, what we have is a promise from God that America would have a death to debt. So we're sitting in this moment saying that looks impossible. Go back 5 years and think about the things that were going on 5 years ago when you would have been saying that same thing. That's impossible. Go back further, not so long. One thing my dad was really about was don't let your present circumstances dictate the direction you're going in the future and what you see, because it can. When you're in a situation like this, that we are in America right now, with so much deception and so much confusion, this is what the enemy does. That it's so, if you are a Christian, even a little bit, you can look at this and say, and this is going back to Tucker, you can look at this and say, these things are evil, they're wrong. And the enemy is using people who were not Christians or who were easy for him to grab a hold of, and has been using them and is using them. And what you see again is the robbery of the innocents, and the life of the innocent is being taken. That's the devil's work, right? So again, we have to be bold enough to say, hey, we're not tolerating that. No, no, you will not take a baby from the womb At the moment of birth, after? What are you talking about here? That's 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 what happens when you allow the enemy in, is that it's just gonna, any area in which it gets to the point of, whoa, after birth abortion? What are you talking about? That's murder of a human being. If a pregnant woman is walking down the road and gets hit by a car, and the guy's a drunk driver, right? He's going to get prosecuted for involuntary manslaughter or manslaughter, whatever the charge is, for two people, the baby in her womb and her, right? Why is there a change? You see, those are the questions we need to be asking, pressing, pushing. We cannot allow certain things. And so, of course, the politicians have taken advantage of that. So, again, you'll say, well, I vote Republican. I'm voting Republican because it's the only option I have to combat abortion. It's the only option I have to combat free speech, gun control, whatever the issues are that they use. But behind the scenes, they're in cahoots together and they're all making a lot of money at our expense. Literally at our expense. Taxpayer money. And so these are all things we need to be looking at. And South Africa again, Lena. Tale of Two Kings. Yes, good and bad fruit. You will know them by their fruits. I say it all the time, all the time. He allowed for Joe. Yes, he did. Okay, I believe this very much because my dad saw a humbling and then some more, right? So America, you're going to be humbled. You're going to get America on her knees. America being humbled. Why? Because God cares about all the people that are being so awful to us right now. He wants us to save them. They are his creation too, and so it's to them that we're called. And that's what makes this so. I keep saying it over and over again, and I hope that everyone hears me. We're called to them. Like, think about Jonah. This is what I talked about in Bend, Oregon this past weekend. Think about Jonah and the whale, right? So God tells Jonah, "You're gonna go over there to Nineveh. I'm destroying them. They're done. You're gonna go." And Jonah's like, "No, I don't want to do that." Runs away, gets on a boat, goes the opposite direction, gets swallowed by a whale, is in the belly of that whale for 3 days and 3 nights, important number, uh, and then is spit out to Nineveh. And what happens? God saves them. So then it's sort of like, what was the point? Was this kind of thing that you brought up about Joe Biden. I forget who it was who brought it up. This time uh, needed to, oh, it's so hard to say this because of all the things, but it does need to happen in order for, if the only way that God can reach his people is through what my dad called, it's not judgment, it's chastisement of the Lord. That more will be brought in, more eyes will be opened, and more people will be saved. It's never a hate thing ever. And if I disagree with someone, or if I feel that what they are doing is wrong and it is affecting me, I have the right to say so, no matter who it is and what it is. And you should not be afraid to do that. What we're seeing in the churches, oh, they're so scared, they're going to lose their congregation, they're going to lose their offerings. Where is your faith? Stand up for what is right, because at the end of this, when this is over, the people are going to remember who are the leaders, the church leaders, who did the right thing, and who are the ones who compromised or hid away like mice. That is going to be a problem in the future, and that will determine, because the way in which the church is operating now is also going to change. We're seeing it now with social media. My dad saw little flames and little houses all over the place. The fire all over the place, little houses. And that's how it's coming through so the technology that is being used for so much evil is also being used for good here. And we are going to be that light in the darkness. So even though Facebook, Instagram, probably one of my least favorite places in the world, I don't personally even go on those platforms anymore. I just post the stuff so everyone gets the information from the prophecies and the broadcasts. But personally, I don't do this there because I don't like it there. Uh, but we still keep our presence there because someone has to be in the dark there with these people. If we can get one person to listen to us, it's one it's a soul. That's an eternal soul created for this moment in time. And you just help them. So I would encourage everybody to keep that in mind as you're looking around. Again, uh, yes, God has raised up prophetic voices, like my dad and other people, but don't be relying on them every single day to prophesy all the time stuff. It's too much pressure on. Like if my dad didn't have a word, he'd just say, "I don't have one. Let's worship God. Let's look at the Bible. Let's do something else." If he didn't have a word, he didn't give one. So again, people also, as Christians, we must be mindful of. We must not be. Uh, if God needs you to hear a prophet, He will make sure you do, and that has all faith. You will be in the right place at the right time. They'll be in the right place at the right time, and the word will get to you that perhaps you need a little bit. Because some people just need a little more help, and that's why God sends the prophet for those things. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with personal prophecies, especially within your church. If there's a prophetic voice in your church that you trust, you must listen to that. That's okay. I'm not putting that down. But I do know that this is such a difficult sphere to be moving in, especially now because just Christians in general, it's fine. You can't say a word about anybody else, but you can talk bad about Christians all day long. People in contracts are told they're not allowed to say Jesus, or like Glenn Beck said, even at Fox News, they were telling him he wasn't allowed to say God. How ridiculous. How ridiculous and absurd. And I don't care if you don't believe in God. You have to respect the fact that I do, just like I respect the fact that you don't. And that kind of censorship is the opposite of what America is. It's the opposite of what America was founded on. America was founded on we are running this ourselves. So these people that we're supposed to be electing someone from the community who is the best representative for us in our community, who will go there to the place and make sure that the things that we collectively have voted for and we all agree upon, or the majority agrees upon, that you can then, because that's the Democratic part, takes it. So that whole point of that system is going away if these people are stealing that position or abusing that position or not representing their constituents accurately, and then filling their pockets, and then they, look at like the whole climate change thing. I remember who else remembers in the 90s with the hole in the ozone, and they made us all get rid of our aerosol hairspray. Remember that? And all us girls in the 90s who had the bangs and were using the hairspray, were like, what do you mean? You're taking away the hairspray? What hole in the ozone? I've not heard a thing. What happened to the ozone? Does anyone know? Pretoria, South Africa. Hi, Dave. Does anyone know what happened to the ozone? I know there's a delay here. I'm just waiting for people to see if anybody has anything to say. Anybody know what happened to the hole in the ozone? Is it still there? Did it get bigger? Did the hairspray, did them taking it away work? Because they use they released them again. You can use those aerosol here. I use it now. So then for like a decade we had no aerosol hairspray for no reason. I'm looking to see if you guys Okay, there's a little delay here, so I'm kind of waiting to see if you guys don't forget Y2K. Thank you, Shrey. That's true. Y2K, remember that? We all thought the whole world is just going to shut down in the year two. Remember on Letterman they used to do in the year 2000. That was the best. And then after the year 2000 they kept doing it, which was even funnier. Yeah, Y2K, I remember that so well. Um, and everything was fine. I think, because they can use fear to control us. That's why it's easy to control us. Everybody gets scared. Look what happened with COVID. And I know that there were people who were legitimately hurt and affected. And I'm not mocking that, but I'm saying we're easy to control when we're afraid. Do not allow yourself to be afraid. That's one thing my dad was saying is, do not fear because your enemy will know it. If you fear, they will know it. That is a direct quote from a prophecy. I don't remember the date now, but it's just come to my mind. So think about that. Don't allow fear to control you. These are the things I'm just hashing it out with you guys. Y2K was 2020. Yep. But you know what? We're in this time with Sleepy Joe because God has used this time to reveal the truth to us. More and more people. My dad saw scales being removed from eyes. He chose to allow things. I don't want to say this the wrong way because he is God. This is happening because we need to be humbled and more eyes need to be open and more souls need to be saved and more people need to see the truth and the true destructive power when the wrong people have it, what it can do. So, okay, no, there's people are telling me about the ozone hole gets bigger and then smaller naturally. Oh, we are such fools. I should have kept my hairspray in the 90s. Okay. Hairspray. I used Aquanet can. The plastic pump was terrible. It didn't work because you need that aerosol spray to get those bangs up there. And my ladies from the 90s, you know what I'm talking about. 80s and 90s, we had my mother even. We needed that aerosol and we gave it up for nothing. And so, yes, then there was the climate, but it wasn't called climate change. It was global warming, and then it was global cooling, and now it's climate change. And lots of people making a lot of money. They're making a lot of change, ain't they? And I'm not saying we should not take care of the planet and the environment, but come on, these people are. They must think we're stupid. So anyway, I'm gonna have to go now. We've been on for an hour. You guys have been awesome. It's so nice to be able to have an interaction, because for a while now it's just been us speaking, and then we'll read the emails afterwards and stuff. But this live interaction is so nice. You guys are the best. Right, Cindy Joe. The new Aquanet isn't the same. It's not the same. Now I've been using herbal essences because it smells nice. But also I'm not doing too much. I'm just curling and then giving a little spray to keep it in place. So it's not quite we don't need what we used to. That's a good thing. New Zealand. Listen, New Zealand, God is going to do something wonderful there. I have such a good feeling about New Zealand. And I know it's sort of a strange place, but when I saw that, I looked because I follow that guy, Kim.com. Funny, his name is Kim.com. He's a man named Kim. Do you know that Elon Musk's brother is named Kimball, which is my dad's actual given name? He was named after the piano, which was very prophetic of his mother, my grandmother, Babette. She's still alive in South Africa. And she named him Kimball after the piano, Kimbal. And he just went by Kim. But Elon Musk's brother is also from South Africa and also named named Kimball. And then you've got Kim.com, who's kind of tied up with them. So I follow these. I don't agree with them on everything, certainly not. But I follow them and I watch them. And Kim.com, he's been quite a voice, that guy. It's interesting. Anyway, I better go. But before I do, I want to tell you guys about tomorrow. So tomorrow, Mom and I have recorded it now. It's being uploaded and it will be available tomorrow. The current events, and Mom speaks about AI. Mom, I'm not going to tell you too much, but you need to go and watch that. It's going to be available, what, midnight tonight, or is it noon? I can't remember.
It's at 12 a.m.
Yeah, I thought so.
It'll be live.
It used to be, see, Dad used to do it at noon, but we do it at midnight. It's ready. So midnight tonight, go over to the House of Destiny, okay?
TV.
Now you can go to houseofdestiny.tv. You can go to kimclement.com and then click the watch page and look for the current events. Or you can download the app. The app is on wherever you have app stores. You can, wherever you get your apps. you can search House of Destiny and you'll see it. And it looks like at the bottom of the screen, you see that the little church with the flame in it. My dad picked that logo. I was there when he picked it, and he was sick and he couldn't speak, but he they showed him the different ones because it was his idea, and they brought it to him, and he picked that one with the fire in it. Love it. So download the app because because here's the problem. We are being censored. Like this channel right here, we have to be careful. We've gotten a few strikes. One of them, my happy face was there. Something I said. So, as well as we do have the House of Destiny YouTube channel, and you should subscribe to that one too. Please do. But we have both because of uh, at this stage I don't even know what to say and not to say to stop YouTube from. So it's just like okay again. So very important that you know how to find us in case this channel were to ever go away. We don't want that to happen. So, but if it does, that doesn't mean we've gone away. We're still on Rumble. Hi, Rumble guys. I'm looking over there because I've got two screens. Um, uh, Rumble, where we're there. So you can follow us there. We're on all the social medias. But do go and join our mailing list on at the House of Destiny website, at the Kim Clement website. If you go to kimclement.com, it's going to take you everywhere you need to go. But if you can, go in there. We also have a QR code. Okay, so with the QR code, when I'm done here, we're going to leave the QR code up. And for those of you who know how to use a QR code, you just pull up the camera on your phone and you hold your camera over wherever the QR code is, and then you click it, and it'll take you to the I don't have it on here right now, but it'll take you to a link tree, is what they call it, and it's got all the links to all the different things, and that way you can always find us. So wait, at the end of this broadcast, you'll see that QR code come up, and do go and watch Current Events tomorrow or tonight once it's up. Mom and I have we've now done it. We've filmed it. Mom is on Telegram. You must follow my mother, Jane Clement, on Telegram because what she's doing is all week long, as she's seeing news and gathering information, she's sharing it on Telegram, and those are the things that are going to be what she's going to be discussing at the end of the week. So this is what she's doing all week, and then you'll be able to see by the end of the week what she's got to say about it. So follow Mom on Telegram if you use it, Jane Clement, and then watch Current Events tomorrow.
It's
And
12 a.m. LA time.
12 a.m. LA time. So that's
2 a.m.
depending on where. Oh, these time zones and also gets me, especially since we moved out of California. So that's okay. Eastern Standard, Central, where I am. So Eastern Standard would be like New York people. Central, I'm in Tennessee, and then California is Pacific.
12 a.m.
So they're 2 hours behind me, and New York is an hour ahead of me. So that midnight for it to be available, if you are in California, it's gonna bend my brain.
It's 12 a.m. LA time. It's 2 a.m. Tennessee time.
12 a.m. in LA,
3 a.m. New York.
2 a.m. in Tennessee, Central, if you're in the Central time zone, and
3 a.m.
3 a.m. if you're in the New York time zone. There we go. I think we got it. Okay, so I'm going to go. I will be praying for all of you. I thank you for joining me so much. And for those of you that are blessing our ministry, you do not know how much it helps us. Because we have really just been flying by faith here since losing my dad. It was a shock. It pulled the rug out from under us, but God has had us. He is taking care of us. And so we are plodding along and continuing to make sure these prophecies get heard and that we're talking to everybody and communicating. And because of the experiences that we've had, my mom and I and our family and our ministry, we actually were pretty well prepared for some of the things, not all. Because of that prophetic gift in my dad, it helped to carry us as well. Kim said he didn't actually say another. He said, you will have at your helm for 2 terms a president who will pray. That's and that doesn't have to mean consecutive, which is what I learned in 2020, to my greatest disappointment. Especially, gosh. So again, back to Fox News. Bye bye, Fox. Bye, corporate media. It was fun. That's how we feel about that. We're going to talk to God now. So thank you everyone for joining me. Make sure you go to the House of Destiny, download the app. QR code's going to come up. You can take the camera of your phone, and as soon as you put that camera up to the QR code, touch it, and it's going to open a link for you, and you'll get all the information that you need. Otherwise, go to the website, check out social media, look for us everywhere, and make sure you, when you go into the House of Destiny, you can actually create a login. Do that so that we can get your email. That way, because it's free to become a member of the House of Destiny Church. You just have to create a login. And then if you don't want emails from us, you could just you don't have we don't hound you with emails either. But you do need to have that in case we lose this YouTube channel, for instance, or something. Then we can let you guys know what's going on. Also, we utilize that to update everybody. Oh, it is in the description. Let me have a look here. I will have a look. Ah, yes. Yes, I see it. Okay, so look in the description there for information as well, because we'll have links and everything posted for you. And I don't know, Ben. It could be. Hey, nothing would surprise me at this stage. Oh, he did say another. No, you are right. That's right. He did say that. It's in the new one. I keep forgetting about that one. That was also 2007. No, you guys are right. Yes, he's in the white shirt, but it has the like stuff on it. And he did say another two terms, didn't he? Oh, good heavens, poor Trump. That poor man has been through so much, that family. Okay, I've got to go. Yes, okay. They're telling me to wrap. We've been on for 71 minutes. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I hope you have all the information. And you can always just email me to codebreakers@houseofdestiny.org. Actually, I'm going to put it in here. And when you guys look in here, because this is me. So this is coming from my YouTube channel. I'm going to type it in here on YouTube. There it goes. And then on Rumble, I will do the same here. I am Kim Clement. Okay, so it will come from Kim Clement in Rumble. We put that email address in there. Got it. All right, you see that? Everybody, you see the email? That is in this phone. And it gets very cluttered. So if you don't get a response, don't take it personally. I am running around like a chicken with my head cut off sometimes, but that email address comes to my phone and I will be able to read them. Any information you send me is always helpful because I'm only one brain. And I always tell people that. And just because Kim Clement is my dad doesn't mean I understand it and know he certainly didn't. So I certainly don't. But we pray, we come together, and we ask God to reveal to us his plans. And I'm going to keep doing this every Friday, guys. I'm going to keep coming up here. And as things happen, then we can talk to each other. And I would have read some emails too. And we can help each other out. All of us can. So thanks for joining me today. And I just pray that God blesses you this week, that whatever obstacles you're dealing with, whatever pain you are carrying, whatever you are going through, that he lift it, that he reveal to you a path and open a door that will help you to move into the destiny that he has made you for. And with that, I thank you. I'm going to get pulled into this and you're never going to get off this live. See, I love doing this. Okay, I've got to go, guys, but I'm praying for you. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. It's been so fun, and I will be back here next Friday. Okay, QR code time.